Hello everyone. I'm just going to continue from where I was with this game. So we just looked at the move, this opportunity for black with g5 and bishop g3 being best. So the idea, we looked at this idea of just attacking these pieces. Obviously they're sort of lined up for this, but as I showed earlier, it's not the best way of playing. H5 defending the pawn, and then again bishop h4. So not really much to do in that variation. Let's have a look at the other variations. So the other idea was just to take this, f takes, and then knight fd5, so like this, queen e2. But yeah, you see it's rather difficult really to break through as black in this variation, so yeah, probably not the best way to play for a human, perhaps. It recommends just castling here, so it's not really too concerned about this pin or the check from the bishop, which is possible. It just says castles is a move. But I play my bishop here to e7, so maybe I can move this knight at some point as well. It's giving actually a3 here for white, which is curious. Okay, it does actually come with knight bd2. So yeah, there was a lot of opportunities for white to develop the other knight there, which I think would have been very good for white. Knight e5, an interesting move. Now the knight has moved, this bishop's no longer defended, so like knight fd7 is actually a possible move here, with the idea that we're attacking all of white's pieces. That's doable, and it actually gives bishop to g3 as a variation, so that's one possible line. Knight takes c6 isn't a threat. It's something I looked at. It almost works, but not quite, unfortunately. And castling is actually the top move here. My opponent thought there was a mate attack here. Unfortunately, it actually gives bishop e2, which I don't know exactly the reason for that move, but that's the recommended engine move here. So obviously this battery doesn't really do too much for white. So instead my opponent took, so he'd obviously calculated something. Now g takes is also a move I should mention here, and after knight f3 there's this f5 move. This blocks this diagonal, but I didn't particularly like this pawn structure, so wasn't too concerned about that. I just took with the bishop instead, and knight d2. So again, white can just keep developing. Bishop h7 doesn't do too much really, just king h8, which is the only move, and white wants to get rid of this bishop now. The computer wants to get this bishop out of here because it's sort of in black's territory. We got this interesting move, rook to d1, and actually the best move is to take. If we play g6 here, which is a move I looked at, bishop takes, f takes, and then knight takes, so white gets the material back in that situation. And then the interesting move actually here with king to g7, the idea is we're going to take with the queen, so if knight takes, we've got queen takes, and gets off this file where the rook is, which is an interesting way to play. We've got an interesting sort of position here. You can see we've got both sides have a queen, but black only has one rook, but 3 minor pieces, and white only has 1 minor piece with 2 rooks. So an interesting balance, and obviously with the pawns as well. So we've got 5 versus 7 pawns for white. So yeah, that would have been a very interesting way of continuing actually. But yeah, g6 was always an idea in that position. Obviously with the knight here, it's a little bit of a saviour for white, at least in that variation. But it actually recommends that just taking is best, and it says that this attack down the d line isn't too much of a concern just because of queen c7, and then it's like a little bit difficult to defend this pawn. It gives like bishop e4. If we just play something like f4, just g6, and this bishop's now not doing too well, so bishop takes g6, f takes, and well, that's pretty good for black, so that's just the line there for that one. Yeah, so yeah, bishop e4 would have been a good move. So yeah, rook d1, and I just didn't really want my queen here, but yeah, it seems I could have just taken this straight away. I overlooked that a little bit. Queen e7, and again bishop e4 here. My opponent unfortunately played this move, bishop to g6, which the idea is if we take, then queen takes, because obviously I've done a nice job here of putting all my pieces on dark squares, so this is good for white. Yeah, not really the best idea. Unfortunately, I don't have to take this bishop. I can take the knight instead, which is defending the bishop. And white, well, I've just taken a piece, and white has a choice. You can either save this bishop, and I protect mine, and I'm up a piece, or you know, as in the game, take this and lose this. So it's a no-win really for white, unfortunately. Well, white gets a pawn for the exchange, but it's not a very good exchange, this really. But yes, this is a good line for black. So I played knight to c4. Yeah, bishop d7 is an interesting move that's worth mentioning here. The idea is we're going to develop the bishop this way, so along these squares. So it just gives an example here. Got this nice move, bishop e8, queen e4, and now we've got bishop h5. So I thought that was a funny way of developing the bishop as well. But yeah, there's that idea. That's a nice idea which I looked at in the game. Didn't play in the end, but yeah, knight to c4, excuse me, and yeah, queen e4 is suggested for white. This queen is somewhat of a tempo target for this bishop when it develops. So and it's not really doing too much here, even though it's in black's territory. So yeah, queen e4, but we've got f4, which unfortunately weakens this pawn. This is an important pawn not to lose here. So obviously black was attacking the b2 and e5 pawns with the knight, but yeah, this is it'd be better to defend it with a piece, i.e. the queen. Now knight takes e3 is a good move. This pawn's now attacked and hard to defend. There's not really much that white can do about it. So yeah, here's rook e1's the best, just getting rid of this piece because it's good. But yeah, rook to d6, that does at least block this diagonal for the queen. You had some nasty discoveries there. For example, yeah, knight to c2 possibly. So yeah, so there was some interesting lines. Actually gives knight f5 as the best move, and it would have been better if I'd have done something like that. But yeah, trading, although not the best, still leads to conclusive positions. So there was that as well. And knight, I think rook takes here as well is also a move. And I think this is why later in the game my opponent played this move, queen to d3, which does protect, because also we are threatening mate here. So this does defend against the threats. But yeah, not after the queen is on the f-file as well. So, but yeah, after queen here, it says that white should actually just trade. But yeah, we got queen d3 in this position, and this is a forced mate now, unfortunately, because the knight here is blocking this rook, so there's not enough defenders on the squares, and obviously the queen can also come to f2, and I think that's what he missed as well. So yeah, we've got queen takes f4, and the computer just gives away the queen now because it knows it's getting mated, so it's a temporary measure. Knight to c3, and yeah, queen f2, king h1, which is any move, and then yeah, queen takes. So obviously the knight is defending the queen. So yeah, pretty interesting game. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks. Bye.